capable of playing mech as well. So we'll have to see what he decides to do on Tal'Darim Altar, our second map.
Yes, indeed. Tal'Darim Altar going to be the second game between Slayers Ryung and IMBFXO Strelok. The countdown has begun. We're going to launch right into this game. Guys, we want to remind you all as well that Live on 3, which will actually be live here at IPL 3, is actually going to be free on your streams. Was going to be under an IPL Prime paid stream, but check out stream number 2 for that. And we're going to launch right into the game. As in the top right-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar, we have IMBFXO Strelok spawning as our blue Terran. So give a cheer if you want him to make a big old comeback here.
All right, and down at the bottom left of the map, the Terran player with the big brain for bio from the team Slayers, it is Slayers Ryung.
All right, so here we have it now. Looks like Strelok picking another very, very large map. So certainly certainly not afraid of the long macro game. We'll see if he tries to go after that very, very intense mech style once again.
Well, you know, I feel like Strelok is, well, obviously is a really good TV tier. You know, we all saw the YouTube video. It's like, I pledge to get really good at StarCraft 2, and I think he's followed through with that for the most part. He's done a good job improving,
Well, he's guaranteed $1,000 here just by being in the championship bracket of this tournament, so certainly no small feat.
As well.
And here we have it. So we'll see if we get any sort of differentiating play between these two players, any sort of gas first or something along those lines. As the first couple of minutes of a TVT, of course, so exciting to cast.
Gas before barracks for Strelok, so we will be going a little bit more tech heavy. Now, in the past, I would have said something like, this could either be Banshees or Hellions or Blue Flame Hellions, but nowadays I would say it's probably just going to be Banshees.
Yeah, more than likely. But no, I would agree with you as well, because the other possible use for the refinery first is to do fastest possible reactored Hellions or something like that. But yeah, we're probably just going to see some Banshees out of him, try to put on some early damage. We'll see if Ryung's going to be privy to that in a bit, as he is actually going to opt for a gasless fast expand once again.
Well, I've got a feeling that Strelok's plan here is to count on Ryung doing something like a gasless fast expand, which it looks like he's planning to do. And because of that, Strelok can come in and really take advantage of the fact that Ryung is going to have a lot of unupgraded Marines that are slow, they can be kited by the Banshees, and he's just going to be able to do a lot of damage with it.
Yeah, certainly, and we do have an SCV heading out now for Ryung. Scouting to the wrong direction first. Of course, our players are cross-positioned, so they'll probably both scout each other in the wrong direction first. Orbital commands being thrown down as well. Yes, indeed. So, all right, nothing too out of the ordinary quite yet, though.
And there's the SCV for Ryung at his natural. Looks like he's ready to start the command center, and there it is. There's the command center.
Yeah, and I'm really curious how he follows this up, because the last time around we saw double gas right away for both players, and Ryung actually ended up, he started with Tank Marine, but then ended up moving into that more bio-heavy composition once he saw the tech. But we'll see if we see a couple of barracks added first, or if he is going to move right into double gas once again.
Well, if you do a double gas like that, there's still a chance you can get a Viking out in time to handle the Banshee. The Banshee is going to be able to do some damage, but you're going to have that Viking pretty soon after it gets there to be able to try to handle that. Look at that, SCV for Ryung just moving right into Strelok's base.
Hey, Dylan.
What's that?
You know, when I said that players like to make us feel like idiots?
Yeah.
There's a reactor on that barracks there for Strelok at the moment. We'll see if he adds a tech lab and just decides to go for for regular Banshees after that, but he is going to be allocating a lot of resources into pumping out ground units for the meantime, so certainly could still move into that Banshee phase, but he's still been on one gas this entire time, so don't think he's going to tech up to that quite yet.
Well, I think it's pretty, well, we might see Banshees. It
could be like the
natural,
one
but it won't be
Banshee.
Cloak.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't necessarily need Cloak to do damage too. I mean, good Banshee control against upgraded or unupgraded Marines, that is going to be just fine as well.
Yeah, certainly. We do have first refinery, being added for Ryung. Second one coming down as well. That's coming after 3 ranks. Now, if he was playing a Protoss player, I'd be saying he's going right for Medivacs, and it looks like we're going to have just another Bioforce. But Strelok, in the meantime,
look at that.
There's a Medivac.
Getting a Medivac, what do you know? So he could do a lot with this. Could decide to keep pushing Hellions out of his factory. There's the second one right now. But Strelok is a little bit supply blocked right now.
Ooh, yes, he is. Supply depot finishing up right now.
It's going to finish soon, yeah. It's not that bad. Actually, that's not a big deal at all. It was very close. It was just like a little bit off.
And let's see, bunker already in place now for Ryung. Looks like he's actually continuing along with this bio build. He does have a tech lab being added to the mix. We're probably going to see a factory here momentarily as he makes his way up towards Medivacs.
He's also getting that engineering bay fast, which is good if his opponent decides to go Banshees, which are very common on this map. He wants to have the turrets, and if they don't, you can just get the upgrades.
Yeah, and then we do have a Medivac making its way down with 7 Marines at the moment. More Hellions being brought over.
This is going to be very interesting. I like this. He's going to drop the Marines on the high ground, use the Hellions on the low ground to do more damage, and does Ryung have what it takes to handle this?
And has he already picked up on these units? No, he hasn't seen these over on the right-hand side.
Look at this. He's bringing the Hellions up as well.
Wow.
This could do some damage. Strelok finally sees it, gets his SCVs away in time, but that bunker is not in a place that's going to save that command center. He's going to have to lift it.
Yeah, and that orbital command is taking quite a bit of damage. Looks like he sends out a few Marines just to go ahead and push these units away. But with the Hellions in the front, he should be able to get some pretty good shots, especially because the Marines will be working their way through pretty small choke points right here.
Yeah, you can see Strelok, he took the time to pull those units back just so he could be in a good position for when Ryung does attack here. Losing a little bit of time when he could be hitting that command center, though, but he just wants to be very, very safe. Losing units early on is pretty devastating in TVT. And here we go, the Hellions trying to roast some Marines, make it easier for the other Marines to do damage, but all in all, kind of a standoff where both armies are about even, but as the seconds tick by, Ryung is going to be able to push this out pretty easily.
It is precisely what I was thinking. The longer this goes by, the farther and farther Strelok's going to get behind right here. SCVs are making their way back out, not actually doing anything. Looks like they were just trying to go back to mining. There we go. Okay. Medevac does pull away with 2 Marines, but Strelok lost a lot of forces. He does actually have Cloaked Banshees now coming up.
Yeah,
so.
he is bringing that out. He sees that Ryung just has mostly Marines at the moment, and those Marines have now taken some damage as well. So Strelok's going to try to capitalize. The first Banshee's already here, actually.
Yeah, and it looks like this poor Marauder doesn't know how to deal with that. Strelok, a little bit better control on this Banshee than we saw in the first game, so he's going to keep that alive after he gets a couple of kills.
Yep, got to be careful with those. You have to make them worthwhile.
And he himself has a natural base down, so he's going to be able to match the mining of Ryung here. Is he down in workers? Not really. Back by 3 workers, but he can make that up.
Interesting. So a starport on the way right now. He's going to move right into reactor and medevac production.
And
that bio force.
Yeah, that's actually pretty intimidating, honestly. I mean, Ryung's really making this work. He's showing what a mobile force can do for you. +1 weapons on the way as well.
Now, Strelok's making 2 more factories, so he's going to be going mech play again here. But look at this, Hellions and Banshees right outside the natural. Going to try to do some damage. There's only 1 bunker there. He can try to cloak and focus down the bunker, maybe with the Banshees, but we'll see. No, he's going to actually cloak and send them into the main instead.
Yeah, there are no missile turrets up here quite yet, so it is going to force Ryung to burn a scan. He doesn't have any energy on that orbital command. He does on the second, so he has 1 scan available at the moment. Uses it. Strelok gets away with the Banshees, though.
Yeah, the cloak doing a good job. I was going to say the scan actually being a little bit wasted there by Ryung. Those Hellions still pressuring from the front. They can't really get in and do any damage, but they can distract some of the units of Ryung a little bit. Strelok doing a really good job of just kind of giving Ryung a lot to think about right now, a lot of mental activity that they could be using on his build and on his own positioning is having to be devoted to handling Strelok right now, which is always good to do to your opponent.
I agree with you 100%, and Strelok still has that medevac sitting down at the bottom left with just 2 Marines, but it will at the very least be a good diversionary tactic to at least pull some forces back if he decides he wants to attack right up the middle.
And this is giving Strelok the time he needs, too, to get that mech composition going here. And look at this, at the back of the base of Ryung, there's a drop. And something was just canceled. I think it was a turret.
Yeah, it looks like it. 75 minerals were just recovered, maybe in the supply depot as well. The Banshees are cloaked. There is a turret up, though, over at the natural, so looks like just this poor refinery is going to go down. Don't know what it ever did to hurt anyone. But the bioforces are going to make their way out. There's enough medevacs here that those are going to be quite resilient. Yeah. And the Banshees are going to have to watch out.
Now, Strelok, it's really good that he was able to kill that refinery because, you know, what's one of the big reasons that Ryung was able to do a lot of damage to him last game? The answer, of course, is upgrades. So by limiting the gas, you can limit the upgrades. Strelok doing everything he can right now to just hinder what Ryung is doing. He knows what his opponent is doing, so right now he's just trying to make it harder for Ryung to use that against him.
And we'll see if Strelok wants to pressure in with those Banshees again at any point in time. Even just one, either finding a sweet spot or just poking in, just reallocates forces. And you were talking before about him just trying to make Ryung think about what he's doing and just overthink a situation, not want to move out, not want to expand. Certainly could force him to do that. We do have a 3rd base up for Ryung, though. Looks like it's turning into an orbital command inside of his main. Is there any such command center up for Strelok?
Looks like there will be soon. He's working on the rocks at the 3rd, so I have a feeling there will be soon. I love what Strelok doing. Like I always talk about the little things that make the difference. A little thing like Strelok bringing his Banshees back, repairing them before sending them out again. I mean, a lot of players will just sit them in the middle of the map and try to come in and do damage, and then eventually just let the Banshees die. But Strelok really making those units count.
And Ryung moving over his orbital command to his third, so looks like we are in store for a nice long TVT at the moment.
I hope so.
As neither player really has the decisive advantage at the moment. Once again, we see players going after two completely different compositions.
Oh, look at this. This drop outside the third of Strelok is going to run right into an army.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Ryung thinking that there'd already be a third there, but there's not.
Does actually get the Viking kills, though.
Yeah, he killed the Vikings, though.
Yeah, so actually didn't end up doing too badly there.
No.
These Banshees in the middle of the map, though, could cause a little bit of havoc here, a little bit of chaos, if you will.
Well, here's what Ryung really needs to worry about. The big army for Strelok moving across the map right now with a good siege. Strelok's going to be able to easily handle the army that Ryung has at this point. That's not enough to take on what Strelok has. He's just going to need to be good about the positioning, and he should be able to push Ryung all the way back to his base if he wants to.
Yeah, certainly, but it looks like Ryung's actually moving off to the right, so if Strelok moves around, we may be in a little bit of a base trade situation here. We'll see if Ryung actually retreats. I think he's going to have to, yeah, because this is just a really devastating force out for Strelok. I don't think he's going to be able to engage it straight up, especially if those siege tanks are already coming down. With scan, with air cover, this orbital command is going to lose all of its mining, though.
Well, Ryung a little bit indecisive there. We saw him move his units back, maybe thinking about a flank, but he's like, no, you're sieged up. I don't have time to get there. I'm just going to go for the counterattack. I'm going to let you take out my natural, let you push that back because I've got my third up and running here. Oh, look at that. He even just lands the orbital a little bit farther away at the natural.
Very smart.
To keep mining, yeah.
And cool. The missile turret goes down. Nothing really here to stop these Marauders and Marines from making their way in. There we go. There's a little bit of a defensive position. Third siege tank coming up as well. So let's see if Strelok decides to push in and get aggressive. Already, Ryung knows he's forced away. He may be able to take out a barracks, but certainly not worth or not what he wanted to do when he's receiving so much economic damage from Strelok at his own natural.
Well, it's tough to push into a base like that on this map. You can see Strelok has 3 siege tanks there already, and meanwhile, Strelok moving into the natural of Ryung. There's a lot of Marauders there, but the siege tanks are in a great position for Strelok right now. Wow. The Strelok really has Ryung in a difficult situation at the moment. He's going to really slowly push into the natural.
Yeah, he certainly does. This orbital command is, if it's not repaired or if it's not lifted off, it's actually going to fall pretty quickly. Ryung looks like he's going to move in for a flank. He's actually got a 3-pronged attack.
Oh, wow.
These Banshees are actually doing quite a bit of damage. However, the scan goes down, so the Banshees are revealed, but this is a pure Marauder composition. However, Strelok's entire ground force just disappeared.
Yeah, just got evaporated by that really great round by Ryung. This is what I'm talking about when I say we're looking at a smart bio player in TVT. There's a big difference. You can have a smart bio player or just like ridiculously aggressive one, and Ryung is definitely of the smart variety. Yeah. So yeah, he handled that aggression by Strelok quite well.
My God, with those Banshees there, I thought that Strelok was going to come out way ahead, but nonetheless, Ryung just defying my expectations with brilliant unit positioning.
Yeah,
and he's going to start making his way out with that aforementioned Marauder force, already on 2-1 upgrades, about to finish, +2 armor as well.
Well, the big deal with killing an army like that for Ryung, too, is that now Ryung can start to go into major bio mode where you take a lot of expansions, you can get a lot of positioning, you can get a lot of map control, where Strelok is going to have to pull back, be very defensive now. Ryung's really got him where he wants him at this point.
And here we have it. Ryung making his way up now. He's got really good reinforcements coming in as well. Strelok, though, with the nature of the mech force, is actually going to be in a very, very defensive position. Yeah. These Marauders actually causing quite a bit of damage, but the Hellions are able to rip through a good portion of the bioforces that were sitting there. Yep. And yeah, I mean, Strelok's on 3 base, so he's going to be able to produce quite a bit. He's even PFing that third as well. And as long as he keeps a couple of siege tanks at key points and doesn't allow Ryung to flank, he should be in a good spot. And he is going to detect these units moving around to the lower right-hand side of his natural.
Yeah, the big thing Strelok needs to worry about is if he's going to be able to take his 4th. That's the thing. I mean, with mech, you want to develop that big death ball army to move out and crush anything your opponent has. Oh, trying to get some Vikings there, but...
Yeah, looks like actually a couple of medevacts almost went down. A lot of damage suffered on both of them, but neither of them fell completely. Strelok does have really good control of the air, though, so I will give that to him. It's going to allow those siege tanks to have such great positioning. But, you know, I've got to say before, even with that, Ryung was able to take advantage of the relatively immobile force nonetheless.
Yeah, big map like Tal'Dorei Malter, you can really use that mobility to take control of the map. Strelok's putting up sensor towers everywhere. It's a good thing to do, too. You want to know where your opponent's going because they're so mobile, you're just not going to be able to keep up with them as far as scouting and scans go. So Strelok doing everything he can here to stay in the game, and he's going to have a really strong army soon, but Ryung is just going to have so much map control. He's going to be able to take a lot of bases.
Yeah, he really is. Ryung going to be able to make his way out now. That fourth is already established down in the 6 o'clock position. Strelok sieging up, and look at all. I love when a million tanks siege up and you see all the ranges appear at once. Just these little white triangles appearing everywhere.
And I see that just makes me want to scan and drop a mule right in the middle of them. That's what I like to do.
Nonetheless, looks like Ryung going to make his way back to the middle of the map, and both players are approaching max at the moment. We have quite the TVT on our hands. Whoa! 3 Ghost Academies coming up now for Ryung, so
nice.
We are going to move into Nuke production.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great move by Ryung. You can use that nukes if the game gets to that point to push around Strelok's army like he feels, and when they unsiege, you can move in from how many sides with the bio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly going to help with the position war. Is Strelok even building a 4CC at this point to lift anywhere else? Okay, yeah, he does have a command center over near his third. Both players are now maxed at the moment, banking resources.
Oh, here comes Ryung. Losing a lot of units there. Ouch, that was messy.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But he does have 3 nukes coming up, so I'll let it pass.
True, too.
Yes.
Still no upgrades. Look at this, a drop in Strelok's main, though. That's going to do some damage. He's going to snipe some tanks before they can siege up.
Yeah, certainly. Those Marauders actually doing quite a bit of damage. They are well upgraded, already on 2-2. At the same time, it looks like he was trying to push through this position of Strelok's, but he's just going to move himself to the Zelnaga Tower and kind of back up.
Yep, he's going to have to be careful here. You saw what happened when he tried to engage a moment ago. He's at 2-2 right now, I believe, with his bio. Yeah, 2-2. Strelok still at 0-0 with his mech. No upgrades at all. I'm really surprised at the lack of upgrades by Strelok here.
And here comes Ryung making his way down to the bottom right. Almost, actually, if he had pushed ahead for a second, would have been able to catch those tanks unsieged. Strelok actually sending a little attack force of Vikings down to the 6 o'clock position. Does confirm the presence of that base. We'll see if he can actually do anything about it. Looks like he is going to force the engagement, though. There's a nice choke point right here, so he can actually move down, siege up all of his tanks. It looks like he's going to force... Uh-oh, there's the nuke out of Ryung.
It's nuke time, and will Strelok notice? I don't know, man. He's moving his stuff. I think he's going to wait just in time. Oh, and the nuke was canceled. Ryung sees the unsiege and move in, but Strelok calling his bluff, sieging right away again. And Ryung, I don't know if he has enough bio. Looks like he barely does. Wow, that was close, man.
Yeah, and that's actually a pretty good turn of events for Ryung as well, because he maintains this fourth base without taking any damage whatsoever.
Man, that was pure upgrades for Ryung winning that fight. If Strelok had had the upgrades, he would have won that. The thing is, Strelok had to produce so many units just to stay alive. He didn't have the resources for the upgrades that he would want again. There's nuke number 2.
Oh, we'll see if he can actually pull away with his bioforce at just the right time. May not even need the nuke. He just cleared up everything around it. Who cares anymore?
Hopefully cancel
wow.
it. Cancel the nuke.
No,
cancel the nuke, Ryung.
Oh, no! Oh, my God!
You know, it's actually not that huge of a deal. Ryung's got such high production right now that can be. That
was a manner nuke. That was a manner nuke.
I'm not even kidding you. Yeah, you do actually see Bioterrans manner nuke their own armies as like a, hey, look at this. I don't even need my units here. So it could have been a mistake, but I don't know. What is it about Terrans from Slayers destroying their own stuff? What is that? You know, I tease MMA all the time about that game against Idra. I'm like, you don't like your command centers, do you?
Oh, well, that was interesting. Okay, Ryung, A+. There's another nuke. Let's see if he kills everything and then destroys his own army in the process once again.
Another nuke. And is Strelok going to move?
God, he better move in a second.
To see that Ryung has to cancel. There it is. He knows.
Oh, perfect timing.
Unsieged.
Oh, that is beautiful. These tanks are not going anywhere. They are all
nuke again.
Another nuke coming down.
Uh-oh. He's going to have to cancel this one as well because his units are there again. GG.
Yes,
and the nuke is gonna land. There it goes. Doesn't matter. The game's over. Bye, Marauders.
But there it is nonetheless. So.
How about that, man? That was cool.